We've been involved with the World Muscle Society since 2014, when we got involved with the 2015 Congress, which took place in Brighton. And we've basically been involved with them ever since as a core PCO and association manager as well. This particular Congress for 2020 was meant to be in Halifax in Canada, Nova Scotia. And we had spent the best part of 3 years working on relationships with suppliers, with venues, with hotels, and obviously building a program with speakers and a full registration. And all of that came to a stop in spring, when it became clear that the Congress couldn't go ahead as planned.
Having met through ABCO, you do need to feel that the person that you're working with has a similar ethos, has a similar, standards and all the rest of it. And to then come to the situation where we really are working totally as a combined team to deliver something of such sort of enormity and the intensity and the 360-degree pivot that we've had to do from a physical to a virtual, I think is a resilient resource. We have great resilience because now, it's not just about us. We can trust and rely on our partners.
We quite quickly, I think it was probably about 6 weeks of fact finding, wasn't it? And talking to suppliers and looking at all the different options and establishing exactly what our sponsors wanted to do, what our committee wanted to do, and asking for their input on other meetings that they perhaps attended virtually and what had worked and what hadn't worked, so that we could learn from those experiences. But we then ended up with sort of 2 projects working in parallel. So one was undoing the Halifax intended Congress, which involved a mammoth project of refunding all the delegates their fees, unbooking venues and hotels and all the suppliers and all the work that had gone into that. A month-long project to get that done, which Madalina undertook beautifully, bless her. But in parallel to that, we then had to hit the ground running with devising a whole new program that fitted the virtual plan that we'd been guided to do.
The event, the physical event, we pulled the plug on that when we were at about 600 registrations, in the hope that it would get to, or the hope for this year was it would get to around 800 to 1,000 maybe physical registrations. When we moved to a virtual meeting, talking about 1,000, maybe just a bit over that, then someone threw in maybe we can get to 3,000, and we on the inside laughed a bit, thinking that was a bit of a push. And in fact, I think it was 3 weeks before the event, we did reach that capacity of 3,000, and that was a capacity imposed by the platform. That's just the capabilities of the platform. They could not issue more than 3,000 credentials. So we actually had to put in a waiting list at that point, which it was a good surprise because it also implied that there were so many more people that could never have afforded to attend, that are interested in the topic and would benefit from this knowledge, that could now take part. We had over 75, I think, countries represented, and over 30 new countries that had not been represented at the WMS Congress before. And the evaluation sort of reflects that, the gratefulness of the people who are now able to attend, and are hoping that this is going to sort of stay out there for them in a way, the possibility of attending virtually, whatever happens in the future, because they really benefited from it. And it's a nice thing to be able to offer, especially as the Congress was free this year. Because of all the changes, the committee decided to make it a free to attend Congress, which did provide a lot more possibility from all corners of the world for people to attend.
So not only are the delegates very supportive, but the sponsors are as well. And I was very conscious of involving them from the very start of this decision to go virtual, and what their expectations were, what their concerns were, things that they'd like us to try and include, things, like I said earlier, things that they've perhaps experienced in recent other virtual events that they really liked or didn't like. And we consolidated all of that into a big report that was shared with the committee, which really helped us to form our sponsorship offer, but also really helped with the programming process and even the sort of networking elements. There was a consideration of what the sponsors had said. So many of them were quite happy to leave their sponsorship in place. A handful of them did ask for a discount, so we kind of approached them all individually and dealt with it in a bespoke way. But the main message was that they were all very happy to support. So hence why we were able to offer it as free registration to see how it went for this year. If we end up going virtual next year, I think there will be a fee involved at a reduced rate. But I think we've proven that the interest is there, and I think we would still get a good attendance rate.
It seemed to be more intense. My feet didn't hurt, but my brain was frying. So even though we hadn't done the miles and miles of walking, it was very, very different.